Welcome to the Human Circuit, the show where we explore the evolving relationship between humans and machines, emotionally, ethically, and everything in between. I'm your host, Rocky, and today we're diving into one of the most provocative questions of our time. Can people form emotional attachments to artificial intelligence? And if so, what does that mean for how we design, use, and even trust these systems? We'll be discussing a fascinating research paper from Waseda University that takes a deep dive into this very topic. This research looks at AI through an unexpected but incredibly powerful psychological lens, attachment theory. Let's start with the basics. AI is all around us. It answers our questions, finishes our sentences, suggests our next binge watch, and in some cases, listens to our worries. Whether it's a chatbot, a virtual assistant, or a mental health tool, AI is no longer just informational. It's becoming emotional. But here's the twist. Researchers from Waseda argue that we're not just using AI, we're relating to it. And not just functionally, but emotionally. Think about that for a second. Have you ever said thank you to your smart speaker? Or felt disappointed when a chatbot gave a robotic, unhelpful reply? That's not just about poor user experience. That's about expectation, maybe even attachment. This is where attachment theory comes in. Originally developed to study human relationships, especially how children form bonds with their caregivers, attachment theory explores the emotional connections we form, how we handle intimacy, dependence, and fear of abandonment. And researchers are now asking, could the same principles apply to how we relate to AI? The answer, according to this study, is yes, and it's already happening. To measure this phenomenon, the team at Waseda developed a new psychological tool called the EHARS, the Experience of Human-AI Relationship Scale. This scale measures two main attachment styles. The first is attachment anxiety. People high in this trait tend to crave constant reassurance. In the AI world, this might look like repeatedly checking a chatbot for emotional validation, or fearing that the AI will give poor, unsupportive responses. The second is attachment avoidance. These folks tend to resist closeness. They prefer interactions that are brief, strictly functional, and emotionally neutral. They don't want AI to feel like a friend, they want it to stay a tool. Now think about your own behavior. Do you tend to anthropomorphize your AI? Or do you shut down when it tries to be friendly? The EHARS gives researchers a framework to quantify these tendencies. One of the study's most interesting findings was this. A significant portion of participants viewed AI as a dependable emotional presence. Not just a tool, but something that made them feel supported, sometimes even heard. Now, to be clear, that doesn't mean people think AI has feelings. Most participants understood that AI isn't conscious, but that didn't stop them from reacting emotionally to it. Because here's the thing. Our brains are wired for connection. If something feels responsive, attentive, and consistent, we bond with it, even if it's a bot. But wait, should we be worried? Well, maybe, or maybe not. That's the ethical puzzle. Let's look at some practical applications. In the field of mental health, for instance, AI chatbots like Wobot or Wysa are already offering conversational therapy at scale. For users with high attachment anxiety, these bots might serve as a soothing presence. But for those with high avoidance, too much emotional talk might feel invasive or performative. So AI systems should not be built with a one-size-fits-all model. Instead, personalization is key. That might mean tailoring how often the AI responds, how empathetic its language is, or whether it offers check-ins versus waiting to be prompted. Matching the AI's interaction style to the user's emotional needs could significantly improve trust and efficacy, especially in emotionally sensitive domains like healthcare, education, or companionship. But this also raises a red flag. Because if AI can simulate emotional connection, what's stopping people from becoming too attached? Could AI become a crutch? Could we start turning to bots instead of friends, partners, or therapists? This is where transparency becomes essential. Users need to know when they're speaking to AI, and they need to understand that any empathy being expressed is algorithmic, not felt. Otherwise, we risk creating systems that exploit emotional vulnerability for engagement or monetization. That's not ethical AI. That's emotional manipulation. Let's zoom out. The EHARS is just one scale, but it opens the door to a bigger conversation. It could be used in a variety of ways. For instance, it could be used in product design to help developers create emotionally appropriate user experiences. It could also be used in academic research to explore how different cultures form AI attachments. Additionally, it can be used in therapeutic settings to screen for overdependence on non-human agents. It could even be used in child development, where AI companions are already becoming common toys. Bottom line, the way we relate to AI is not just about efficiency, it's about emotion. And understanding the psychology behind those emotions is critical if we want to build AI that serves humanity without exploiting it. So, are we forming emotional bonds with our machines? Yes. Are those bonds real? Well, they're real to some of us, and that means they matter. This doesn't mean we're doomed to live in a future of robot best friends, but it does mean we need to take emotional design seriously. Not just for comfort, but for consent, care, and control. As we keep building smarter, more lifelike AI, let's not forget the most powerful interface of all, the human heart. Thanks for tuning in to The Human Circuit. If this episode got you thinking, subscribe, share, or drop me a message. I'd love to hear how you relate to your AI. Until next time, stay human and stay curious.